No. It's a big rubber monster.
I am founder and organizer of the International Transgender
Rachel Crandall
Day
Crocker?
Visibility.
What?
Anyone can create their own day. Tomorrow is...
Just a minute. Thank you all so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here.
Oyster bunnies?
Come on, get in there. Pretty big bunny, huh?
All right, the slurring, mumbling, bumbling confusion continued during a very friendly interview with that hard-hitting weatherman, Al Roker, on his favorite network, NBC News, where only Democrats are allowed to appear. Take a look.
What is so special about this April?
Well, what's so special is this is the people's house. We expect over 40,000 people to be here. It's the largest ever.
Was there 40,000 people to hear?
Open it up the place and let people see this is their place. And it always makes me feel good to look out there and see average Americans just walking around looking at what's going on because they own it.
Right.
Now, that's the best Joe could do, despite zero tough questions from the Democratic operatives on NBC. Now, of course, the president...
By proclaiming Sunday, Easter Sunday, as Transgender Day, he called that outrageous and abhorrent. What do you say to Speaker Johnson?
Thoroughly uninformed.
Uninformed how?
I didn't do that.
What?
Well, actually,
Who did?
Mr. Prez. No. My staff isn't in charge. I'm the one making the decisions. Trans Day of Visibility, that was my idea. I've been involved in trans issues since the very beginning. Delaware Transit, Amtrak Transit. They used to call me Amtrak Joe. They gave me my own key. Did I ever tell you that? Some days I pull the train into the yard by myself. I pull in backwards, caboose first. And Mr. Topham had to be there waving to me. Oh, it's old Joe pulling in backwards again. Joe, give me the whistle.
Right now? Whoa. Put on the brakes. Don't want that one, it's the clutch. Welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, pufties, bung-eyed heifers, right and left-wing wackos, woodchucks and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom, to another version of It's News to Us. And who are we? Where are we? We might wonder. Well, let's see. You are watching It's News to Us. We're Newport, Vermont's oldest TV news watchers. New brown cow. Oh, and my old buddy Paul became a subscriber. I was over at his house. Paul, I'm sorry I didn't get back with you, but I spent the last friggin' week at UVM.
Did you see you got another subscriber?
Yeah.
That isn't Paul, is it?
It could be. I don't know what his handle is.
Okay.
We were over there, and I said, my show's on YouTube. And so he went and clicked on my show, and he says, bang, you got another subscriber. It's me.
That must have been the guy I notified you of. It was March 11th.
Huh. No, it was before I went in the hospital.
Yeah, that's before you went.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my me, I'm stupid. Yeah. Oh, get off my lawn. Here's our, oh, man. Here's our president. You could call him that. You know, elections have consequences, and stolen elections have bad consequences. And all hail the cadaver and cheese. There he is right there. Get off my lawn, the White House lawn. And we're brought to you this week by Romeo, oh Christ, St. Peter's Boner Pills. That's right. You're gonna get a boner so hard it'll be like Chinese algebra, and you'll be saying, "Oh my God! And let's see. And we're all inclusive here. We cater to men, women, bat wangers, paper hangers, door slammers,
clothes hangers.
Yeah, clothes hangers. Yeah, we're all inclusive here. Just wash your damn hands. And defund the police? I don't think so. You know, it's not working out, boys and girls. And guess who's starting to notice it's not working out? Like everybody. So defund the police? No. And this is for my friends over at UVM. I couldn't remember how many pounds they discharge into the lake every day. But when you get water at the hospital over there, Terry, when they bring you water, I'm sure the friggin' muckety mucks down there, the management, I'm sure they all drink like bottled water or water from home. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
But when you get tap water out of there, it is the most disgusting, nasty crap you would ever drink. And this is it right here. And from IBM, well, it's Global Foundries now. And that's what they dump into the Winooski, and it goes right into the river. And speaking of which, here is IBM's chairman, Herr Watson, getting the Volks Medal from the Fuhrer in 1937. Yeah. Yeah, they had a very cozy relationship because, see, them IBM punch card computers, they made the trains run on time to bring the Jews to the gas chambers. And man, and you should read that book sometime. It's out there. You could ask your library to get it, or you could order one. It's called IBM and the Holocaust, and it came out right before 9/11. I should know, I ordered the damn thing. And it's like, bang, a week later the towers come down. That was the end of that book. But every day, boys and girls, 265 pounds of nickel, 36 pounds of lead, 2 pounds of cadmium, 184 pounds of chromium each day. So that works out to 96,000 pounds of nickel annually, 13,000 pounds of lead annually, 730 of cadmium, and 7,000 pounds of chromium every year. That's okay, it's good for you, because our Vermont DEC and ANR, which we affectionately call the Agency of No Response, they keep claiming every year that the river has the assimilative capacity to assimilate these chemicals and minerals or whatever the hell they are. Oh, and this week we're glad to have Philo back in the booth. Philo T. Farnsworth, you can see him waving. He's doing the horns. What do they call that?
You know, they interviewed Ronnie James Dio, who used to use this all the time, and he said his grandmother taught him that it was to ward off
the evil eye.
It was to ward off the evil eye, to protect you from it.
Yeah, it was an old Italian thing, man.
Yeah, amongst other hand gestures.
Yeah, they said that something like you know, if they had a christening or something for a baby, and somebody didn't say, well, what a beautiful baby, God bless her, him, her, or whatever, and they didn't do the proper thing, then Grammy or whatever would give the sign behind their back. But anyways,
another Fables brought to you by
yeah, old Italians. Anyways, it's good to have them back. God, we've been doing this show since 2009. Oh, and speaking of which, I just got out of the hospital, and I know it's kind of nasty looking, but yeah, it is kind of nasty looking.
Folks, we have not been beating on Steve. We did not do this.
Yeah, this is what happened when they tried to grab me and hold me down. Tie me up.
We should put a disclaimer on.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there was one poor lady on the floor. She had dementia, Terry, and she kept screaming for help. Man, oh man, they had her bed way down at the end of the hall, but she was still like screaming for help. Help me! Help me! But in the booth, we have Philo T. Farnsworth, College of Musical Knowledge, and drummer extraordinaire. You can see his drum videos on YouTube at Terry DeFazio, and he's good. He's the Rolls Royce of drummers, man.
I wish. But they're not going to put on my newest one because YouTube has blocked me, so I'll put it over on Rumble.
Well, speaking of which, RFK, Philo had sent me a link, to this article about RFK, because over the weekend, they asked him, who do you think's the biggest danger to democracy nowadays? And they expected him to say, by golly, it's Trump, you know? Well, no. RFK cannot lie, right?
But he tends not to.
He tends not to, yes. So he said Joe Biden is the biggest threat to democracy. And he mentioned a thing, Terry, and I didn't have time to look it up, but he mentioned a thing called stochastic terrorism. And I have never, ever heard of stochastic anything. I imagine it's spelled like it sounds, but...
Would you like me to look it up?
Yeah, could you?
Yeah, go ahead. You continue and I'll look this up.
Yeah,
I get it on my phone. And it's called stochastic terrorism?
Yeah, stochastic terrorism. And here's a big thing, too. RFK Jr. has submitted 80-something pages of threats that he's gotten. He even had some guy come in and claimed to be a U.S. Marshal, okay, and came into the green room of some TV studio where he was, and he had a gun, and he had a cross holster and a gun and a clip in each holster under his armpits. And he said that his real security detail, who are ex-Secret Servicemen, he said that they noticed him. They happened to notice this guy because his U.S. Marshal's badge was just a bit too shiny, okay? And so they grabbed him and questioned him, and it turned out, man, he was not who he said he was.
Okay, stochastic terrorism.
Oh, with a T, okay.
Yeah, refers to political or media figures publicly demonizing a person or group in such a way that inspires supporters of the figures to commit a violent act against the target of the speech.
Wow. Huh, I missed the T. Thanks, Philo.
That's okay. I missed it too. It's and not only that, but you know, the federal government isn't giving him a Secret Service detail, which was signed into law by Reagan, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody's got one. Jill Stein, that Cornell West guy, that black guy with the gap between his teeth. Mm-hmm. All of them, they all have friggin' SS people, but Bobby Kennedy, whose family has a history of being whacked by whack jobs.
Yes.
I mentioned that to one of the girls, one of the nurses at UVM. I said, I was a little kid when Bobby Kennedy, happened to be watching TV when it happened, that he got shot going through the kitchen of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles in June of '68, and somehow, and now mind you, this pistol was made by Ivor Johnson's Arms and Cycle Works in Fitchburg, Mass. I worked there for a week, Philo, after trade school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I couldn't take it. They said, if you're gonna bring your lunch to work, you better bring it in a metal lunch bucket. On there, why? They said, if you bring it in a paper bag, the rats will get it. In the old brick mill building on the side of the Nashua River, and I'm all like, okay, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, and I was 17 when that happened.
Yeah, and I would, I did not spend three plus years in trade school to be a mill rat, working a machine where you put in a piece and put in another piece. No. Oh no. So anyways, yeah, no SS detail, even though he submitted 80-something pages of credible threats that he's got over the past, month or so.
The Democrats don't want him
in
the race.
Do they not want him so bad they're willing to have him killed?
I would not put anything past the Democrats anymore.
I get, something, Philo, you're right. What happened to my party?
Our party.
Yeah.
We were good communists at one time.
Yeah.
Look at what happened.
We were good. Why do you think this is called the Comrade Steve channel, man?
Yeah. We used to be very progressive.
Oh, wicked.
And then look what they did to Bernie twice.
Yep. I mean, I would go round and round with Dexter all the time. I was his campaign manager for Dexter Randall. He was a local organic dairy farmer, and he spent a term in the State House. And but we would argue and argue and argue about high capacity magazines, right? And it's like, Dexter, I'm there. You should know better. You live on a farm, man. You've been surrounded by coyotes. You know, when you're surrounded by 20, 30 coyotes, Philo, that 30-round clip comes in handy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they'll take you down. They will. They are fearless little suckers. So anyways,
you can't argue with a bullet.
yeah, with 30 of them in quick succession.
Yep.
So anyways, he's scaring the DNC crapless. Said that Biden was the bigger threat to democracy because of censorship, and we know right here we've been censored. Philo has been posting my show to YouTube since God knows when. At least a year or two pre-pandemic, Philo.
Oh, probably. If you give me a second, I'll look it up.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just if you have to keep talking.
Yeah. Okay.
I have to switch over. Go ahead.
It's been a long time, so we noticed we started getting censored, and they would steer people away from my channel, and they were just brutal. And a couple times they would come out and give me strikes, and they would say, well, you know, one more strike and that's it, mister. You'd better shut the hell up and, toe the party line and not talk about, ivermectin or any of this other stuff like Joe Rogan does, And so I'd get friggin' shut down, shut up. And I'm telling you, for somebody whose mother is an immigrant like yours truly, freedom of speech to me is like the big one. And when you start to have some pissant, corrupt weasel like Joseph Robinette Biden come in and friggin' start canceling stuff or having his buddies cancel stuff that they don't agree with, or him or Fauci or God knows whom, then that's it, man. That's like the end for me. That's the end of democracy right there. And so, let's see.
Okay, Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We first published you on YouTube. We published the first show you ever did.
Yeah, that was the one. People wanted to see that one because my co-host was killed on his way home.
We published that one, and it got on YouTube October 4th, 2017.
Okay, yeah, so we put it on. It was that we filmed that show, the first show, in 2009.
Right. So I have been posting up to YouTube and even Rumble now since for 5 years this October. I'm sorry, 7 years. Yeah, 7 years this October.
Yeah. When I told my buddy, I had some great, fantastic nurses at UVM, man. I mean, these people were pure professionals, and you know who you are. And I was lucky enough to get them taking care of me. And when I told them I had the YouTube channel, they looked it up, and what comes up but the first episode, right, Philo?
Yeah, right.
Where my co-host got killed by his wife on the way home, and they're looking at the screen, and then they look at me, and they look at the screen, and they look at me, and they're all like, "Wait a minute, your co-host got killed after his first show?"
Yeah.
I'm all like, yeah, you don't get it. His wife was mental, man.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. She thought you know what it was? She came over my house. Her and Charlie came over my house when I was growing all that weed indoors, right, Terry?
Yeah.
And so she thought that she could, if she could just get rid of Charlie, she could come, plant her ass in my house and give the kids each a bedroom, and have all the weed she could smoke, and we'd live happily ever after. I mean, she's nuts.
Of course.
Yeah. So what she do, she kills him on the way home. And then at the funeral, a couple days later at the funeral, she says to me, Charlie's dead and you won't talk to me? WTF, man? I'm all like, you're damn right I'm not going to talk to you because I know you're a killer. And I told the state police this, and of course the Vermont State Police, being like they are, well, we can't put 2 and 2 together without, a right to an abacus or something, We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Well, so it took, she wound up going online and meeting some boyfriend over in Burlington, and
bragging about it.
And then bragging about killing her husband. And he got it on audio. And he played it for the state police. Well, first he played it for Vince Lucy.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah, because he's a prosecutor over in Essex County. He played it for Vince. And Vince is all like, whoa. Wait a minute here, Bucky. There's the rules of the road and the law. You got to follow them. But anyways, yeah,
well,
it was terrible.
That's what you have Vince around for, because he's an attorney. So
yeah.
Here it is. Now you tell me how to proceed.
Yeah.
I think they had to wiretap his phone anyways, didn't they?
Well, they pretended they'd wiretapped her phone, but they didn't. And they pretended to look into her emails, but they didn't. So they got her on a guilty conscience and confessing. He had a little one of those little pocket recorders,
Yeah.
And this was another thing. David Slay almost had it thrown out because he had never heard of anybody, any private citizen using their own electronics equipment to take somebody down, It was crazy. The whole thing was just nuts, man.
And then she got 7 years to life. And after she got out, after I don't know how many years she got out,
7.
She got drunk and assaulted her next boyfriend.
Oh yeah. She got drunk and started hanging around with the drunken ship bums who just got off the ship. She started hanging around with the ship bums and got all cocked and hammered and started beating up him and her and them and you. Yeah, that was the end of that. Luckily, Charlie's brother had got custody of the youngest daughter.
Oh, were they in Massachusetts?
Yeah, somewhere near Billerica somewhere, I think.
I was praying that nothing bad happened to that kid.
She's a sweetheart, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And anyways,
we have more to the story, but we won't go into that now.
Yeah. Oh, we've had some great kids come and hang out at the studio. Remember this one girl's daughter who used to do the origami and stuff?
I don't remember.
Well, you remember their mother's name was like Whiskey?
No, I've lost pieces of my memory since my seizure.
Oh, come on, Philo.
Yeah, really, I've lost. I don't remember her.
Oh,
Probably if I saw her, I'd know her.
Yeah, well, she used to make all these little origami birds. I still have some in my house.
Oh, okay. And then we had the mice.
Yeah, the mice. Yeah, the 2 kids. Anyways, let's see. Ballot canceled. Oh, yeah, and one of the. Speaking of which, one of the free speech cases, it's winding its way through the Supreme Court right now, is called Mercy versus Missouri, and is something with COVID. It was some free speech about COVID. I remember the Attorney General from Missouri and a couple other states had got together and brought these suits to the Supreme Court because, and you know what's going to happen, Philo. By the time the Supreme Court gets around to ruling on anything, Bite Me's going to be out of office anyways. Joe Biden, he'll be out of office. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, there's a great website if you want to see like prices of anything, like what they are now versus what they used to be under Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called Biden/Mart.com, or it's a hyphen. Biden-Mart.com, and it's great. Oh, we had another shooting over in New York State over the weekend. Philo, did you hear about that one?
No, I didn't. I was in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just typical. What is wrong with these people, man? I can't remember the guy.
A better question would be, what's right with him?
Yeah, really. This guy's name, the shooter's name, was Quavan Harris.
Oh, another Irish guy.
Yeah, another Irishman, Harris.
Oh, yo, boy, you can't let those Irish loose, I'm telling you.
Oh, the guy's name he shot was William Ball, and it was over in Elizabethtown, New York. They don't know what it was over. It was drugs or money or God knows what. But the Quavan Harris looked like he'd be in his 20s, and William Ball was like 44 years old. So he just happened to, gee, I'm going to cap you. I'm going to cap your ass, and that's the end of that. And he did. And now he's probably going to spend life in prison, which will be at least 20 years, Philo.
Mm-hmm.
To prove what? To prove what? You know what I mean?
Yep. Hopefully it's longer than 20 years.
Well, we would think, but with good behavior and all. Yeah, anyways. The manure spreading commences after the storm. We're supposed to get a wild winter storm tonight. Up to a foot of snow. Yee-haw.
I haven't seen it yet, so I want my money back, because they said it was going to start 10 this morning, and it's not there.
Yeah, well, the weather boys are whizzing their pants. They got a kid on Channel 5. He's got some kind of speech impediment or something. He keeps calling them mountains, Philo. We're expecting like a foot up in the mountains. I'm near the mountains. What the hell is a mountain?
Well, Martins? The
Yeah.
Martins. I thought that was a bird.
Yeah, Martin the hell up.
We saw a big colony of them, Martins, down in Florida. They had the boxes up, and it was full of them.
Yeah.
Cool bird.
Speaking of which, I had a bird in my damn house yesterday. I'm sitting there on the bed, right? I've gotten into this habit. I don't know what it is. If I take my BP meds, right, in the afternoon, Philo,
Yeah.
I don't get tired or sleepy or nothing, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, when I get up in the morning and take them in the morning, I wind up having to friggin' lay down and put my feet up and get another hour in a snooze time, right?
Sure.
So I'm sitting there with the dog, and I keep hearing this. And I look at the dog, and the dog looks at me. And I look at the dog, and the dog looks at me. And we're going round and round. And finally, I says, I looked out the window, and I saw some environmental engineering truck or something. I figure, it's some, Yahoo contracted with the town or village, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. Go back, put my feet up. There it goes again. And it's freaking the dog out, because anything freaks the dog out. Well, except that she could chase, right? Last week, the neighbor's got a bunch of chickens, and they're always underneath my bird feeders, picking up the scraps. And so I'll throw out some French fries out there like I did the other day. Anyways, so I opened the door, and I didn't have a hold of the dog tight, right? I opened, the chickens are underneath the bird feeder. I didn't see him. I didn't think anything of it. I opened the door. Off goes the dog, Philo. Friggin' chicken chasing the chicken about 90 miles an hour. It gets about 10 feet, grabs a mouthful of feathers, and they're rolling around in my neighbor's lawn. The thing is, the chicken's clucking and screaming for dear life. It sounds like it's dying, right? And I'm yelling at the dog, Stella! You think the dog would mind my ass? Oh no, right?
Well, computers, children, and dogs never do what you ask them to do.
It sure seems that way.
Yeah.
So anyways, the chicken got up on its feet. I guess she had taken a big mouthful of feathers off the breast, right? But it didn't affect the chicken's wings. So the chicken like jumped up and flew a couple times, and which freaked the dog out, because the dog, never seen anything fly before except for little birds. Anyways, so she'd been after that one. So then, anyways, yesterday I'm hearing that noise again. So I said, well, you know what? Damn it! I'm gonna have to look in the old grow room. So sure enough, I get my lame ass out of bed and I go over and unlatch the door and I open the door to the grow room, and damn it, there's a friggin' starling in there.
Oh boy, a grackle, right?
Yeah, big, almost the size of a crow, Philo. Big old honking friggin' bird. And you think the thing will calm down so I can help it?
No.
Oh no. I'm trying to calmly talk to the bird, and and tell it that I'm okay. I'm here to help. Just relax. I'll throw the shirt over you, and we'll get you on your way in just a minute. And I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh no. I go to grab the friggin' thing. What does it do? So I left the window open in the other bedroom, right? I figured, well, if it screws, it could go out that bedroom. If in my bedroom there's screens, so you can't, it's a bitch to get the screen off. Anyways, so the door's open. You think the bird would go into the room with the windows open and take off?
No.
Oh, of course not. Why would it do that, right? Why would it do that? It goes into my friggin' bedroom, and it gets right for the friggin' dormer window, which I no way I can reach the top, but I can reach the bottom, which I'm using for a bookshelf. So the thing goes, it tucks behind the friggin' books. I'm there, all right, great. It's in there, and I got to get him out. So I held him off with one hand, and I pulled out a couple of books with the other, and it came over to one side, and I finally grabbed it and tucked it into the shirt so it couldn't friggin' bite me. The thing's got a 2-inch beak on it,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it could take a good poke at you. So, and then I calmly walked it outside over to the open window, and I'm all like, okay, here you go. Let's see if he's any worse for the wear. And off he went. Wasn't bothered a bit. I made sure I washed my hands thoroughly. Okay?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So, in my old house, when I lived in North Springfield,
yeah,
a whole bunch of them got into my eaves and literally broke my eaves.
Yeah. Bastards.
So I had somebody fix it and one side of my house.
Yeah.
And he put a whole big nest of. He sewed the thing right up. They were frantic trying to get their babies out, and they couldn't.
Wow.
It's like, hey, mess around and find out.
Yeah.
You're up in those eaves.
Well, the problem is, and this goes to for anybody who feeds wild birds too. Anytime you touch a bird feeder, or any branch or anything that the birds have touched, you make sure to wash the living dickens out of your hands. Yep. With soap and really hot water, man, because birds carry friggin' pests, lice, nasty friggin' funguses, and
fleas.
Fleas, yeah. Anyways, you want to wash your hands after dealing with friggin' birds, especially wild ones. Oh yeah, and yesterday it seems like old Uncle Joe called Xi Jinping on the phone. You do imagine what time it must have been? He wrapped up the phone call around noon, Philo.
Wow.
So I'm thinking it must have been something like 3 in the morning China time, right?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who lives in the Philippines, and that time change is insane. So he called Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping, all they talked about was AI-related risks, Russia's defense base, etc. Oh, the phone call started at 11 a.m. There was nothing about fentanyl or the drugs or military-aged Chinese men crossing over the border in battalion strength. You know, none of that. None of that. Just happy talk. Because let's face it, old Uncle Joe is bought and paid for by the Chinese, has been for years. Speaking of which, I wrote it down for you. Here it is, right here. Old Uncle Joe and his family had 27 shell companies, Philo, when he was vice president. And a lot of these shell companies were taking money from Chinese party or the Chinese communists. And everybody knows that if you were, think about it, Philo, if you were going to make a deal, right? If you were going to make a deal, who would you seek out? Someone like respectable who knows how to make a deal, or would you look for a crackhead to make your deal with?
I'd want somebody level-headed, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I'd go with the crackhead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're more stable, you know. They remember everything. They have photographic memories, you know.
You know, my son worked for a company, and his first in line supervisor was a Chinese woman.
Yeah.
And he swears she was on crack because she never stopped. She's emailing him at 3 in the morning, and over stuff that they already discussed earlier in the day. he says, "I swear this woman's on crack."
Yeah, that's weird. Well, you know, I'm telling you, that was one of the good things about UVM being over there. It was like being at the freaking United Nations.
Yeah, Dartmouth's the same way.
Yeah, but thank God, you know, these people are the cream of the crop, man. They're usually the best at what they do.
Yep, I know. I had a good crew working on me.
So Uncle Joe had 27 different shell companies, and he had his crackhead son hide the money. And the USA is now a democracy of techno-feudalism, Philo.
I'm not surprised.
Making nothing in the USA anymore. And he keeps talking about all these jobs. Hey, we got the best economy in the world. Not economy, boys and girls. The best economy.
He sounds like a guy I used to work with by the name of Alan Lockwood, who's probably dead now. But he could never pronounce first syllables. For example, you remember the guy from Massachusetts that ran for president?
Dukakis?
Yeah, his name was Caucus. And he was always, and he hated George H.W. Bush, and he thought he should be peached.
Oh, Jesus.
That was a peach of an idea.
Yeah, I think he should be peached right now.
Hey, please continue.
It's crazy, man. Mr. Malaprop. Yeah, let's see. Even with massive spending, man, because all these batteries, too. Did you see over the weekend, Friday, the EPA mandated we got to have electric semi-trucks? And I was looking at the statistics. Of course, I didn't write them down like an idiot. The statistics on how far you can go on a diesel truck versus how far you can go on a battery truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the mileage is minuscule, dude. It's crazy. These people are out of their mind. Hopefully I'll look it up. I'll try and look it up by next week.
Bobby Starr was talking about that at one of the legislative breakfasts.
Yeah.
A while ago, how incredibly inefficient it is.
And if anybody knows trucks, it's Bobby Starr.
Yep.
I mean, the guy only ran a trucking company for the last 40 years.
He said that he used to pay $60,000 to $70,000, and he bought a whole bunch of trucks. Now he had to retire them because that was many years ago. He says, and now they're electric, and he said you have to. He says the difference is maybe 1 or 2 miles per gallon, sort of, and these things cost well over $150,000 to $200,000.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. They should go to hybrids. Hybrids the way to go.
Yeah. Well, it was like when the train came by last week or whatever, the week before, we were getting ready to shoot the show, and I said to Todd, I said, we were talking about hybrids. And I says, you know, that train's a hybrid, right? And he looked at me, he's all like, what? I said, yeah, well, you know, I mean, how many people know this? A lot of people don't. When you see a diesel locomotive, it isn't burning diesel to drive a propeller or drive the wheels like a ship or a Volkswagen diesel. What a train is doing, the train is electric, okay? The train has electric motors on every wheel in that friggin' in that locomotive. So the diesel generator is running a generator. It's not charging a battery, boys and girls. No. The generator is directly driving the friggin' wheels that's pulling the train. It's technically a hybrid. So anyways, yeah, this crazy stuff. We're making nothing here. We're adding $1 trillion to our deficit every 100 days. I mean the debt, Philo. Just because of the interest payments. And they won't shut down the government, and they won't cut spending.
Well, here's what I'd like to see. If they're going to shut down the government, the way Newt Gingrich loved to do it, and others, he's not alone, then all of the congressmen and senators should not be paid.
Well, it's grown too big, Philo. It's out of control.
Yeah, right. Yes, I agree.
What they're talking about is going back to spending levels, pre-pandemic spending levels. That's all they want to do, okay? And they can't, and the Republicans came in and said, yep, we're gonna cut spending, man. Vote for me and I'll set you free. I'm gonna vote with the Freedom Caucus and we're gonna cut spending and cut the government, size of government. And what do? They get down there, they hang out with the uniparty and nothing gets done. Because, you know, let's face it, man. Like I said, all they wanted to do is to cut the levels of spending to what they were pre-pandemic for now. You know, afterwards, get out the scalpel and start slashing, okay? Because we do not need a Department of Education. We do not need a whole bunch of other departments. We got billions at the Pentagon that they don't know what the friggin' where it went. We still have the pandemic money that they don't know where it went. So anyways, yeah.
That was a neat way to pay us off for our silence.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I saw something in the newspaper yesterday. I might have given it to you. This woman over, I don't know if it's UVM or whatever, but she's just been convicted of Medicare fraud during the pandemic.
I'll be damned. They got one in Vermont?
Yeah, I think it's in the newspaper I gave you. It's yesterday's or the day before.
I'll have to dig it out. Anyways, let me finish up this stuff here.
Okay.
Where were we? Yeah. Okay, now we're talking about all these wetbacks coming over the border. Now, wetbacks is not a derogatory or racist terms because, you know, let's face it, you swim across the river, I don't care who you are, your back is wet, okay? You're a wetback. So all these wetbacks, they figure, Philo, if there are 1% of 8 million terrorists, right? Wait a minute, if 1% of the 8 million people who came over here, if they're terrorists or turn out to be terrorists, that's 10 to 12,000 terrorists, Philo. Think about it. You know? And they haven't vetted any of these people. They have no idea where they are. What they should have been doing is paying the friggin' little Mexican kids to go up and down the Mexican side of the river, Philo, and pick up all the IDs they left before they cross the river. Because that's all they do is they just get rid of their IDs right on the Mexican side. And then they go through the water and bang, it's like they've been baptized. You're born again, Philo.
Yeah, boy, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, and so anyways, They're bringing in 10 to 12,000 per day. Oh yeah. Well, get this. In New York City, the merchandise they've been stealing from the retailers there, Philo.
Yeah.
They've been losing $4.5 billion in stolen goods so far.
Oh yes, and did you see one of them that they were talking to? And they said, "Well, we got to have food for our families and that." And they were stealing high-end clothing.
Of course.
It had nothing to do with food.
Oh yeah. Even though their meals are provided, their laundry's done, they have a roof over their heads. They just needed some walking around money, Philo. Let's see.
Amazing.
Yeah, stolen some goods so far. Get this. $5.8 billion for 78,000 workers, paid back 150 so far, and the Supreme Court said no. Wait a minute. Oh, that's from Joe paying off the student loans again. It's crazy. Yeah, and they lost, according to, I don't know, the interweb, they lost 190,000 last month. 200,000 cases of gimme grunt cases, 200,000 were thrown out due to bad DHS paperwork, Philo. So that's it. Not only are they doing rotten paperwork, some of the paperwork is so bad that it's getting thrown out. They can't even have a case against them. Oh, and there was a great show on PBS, Nova, from 2020 about the polar extremes, Philo.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, and how many and how many times the Earth has been frozen completely? Like completely frozen, the whole planet. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, these people don't realize that climate change is going to happen
over and over,
and we just have to not make it worse.
Yeah, and it's gone over and over. Get this. Humans have only been around 300,000 years, so they figure. And at one point in time, CO2 levels were 2,000 parts per million, Philo. Mm-hmm. And we're only at, they want to get down to 350.org, and we're at something like 440 now. And CO2 is not even, a dangerous friggin' gas. Plants need it. Plants need it, and we take in the oxygen that they spew out. It's really simple. I hope they run that again, man. It was a great, Nova. Oh yeah, there's a great, here's a good website, state-of-denial.com. That's a good one. And if you want to find out what Trump is going to do in his next term, go to newmegadeal.com. Oh, and my buddy's daughter. Remember I was telling you she was a scientist, Philo?
Yeah.
My buddy Paul, who just became a subscriber, and I met her when Paul's companion Jim died. Right. That was a shame. These guys were the nicest people to me. When I first moved up here, some people wouldn't talk to me. They thought I was a state cop, Yeah. I'm all like, what the hell? I said, have I tried to buy drugs from you? No. I said, have you tried to sell drugs to you? No. And they, well, then get the hell away from me,
Definitely.
So these two gay guys who ran this bed and breakfast at Troy, the Riverbend Inn, they were just the nicest can be. One was Jim McKim. He ran the local art gallery down here on Main Street, and the other was Paul, who was the health officer, is just a character. I mean, Paul is really a real character. But anyways, his daughter works for a place called Southwest Industries, and you can see her work and stuff at Dr. Tracy Becker at Southwest Industries. It's wild, man. It's wild. I can't believe it. This girl is a bona fide friggin' galactic space scientist. It's great, man. Yeah. And, you know, and here's another thing. We're supposed to trust these different machines and this and that. You know, anybody remember when the Volkswagen diesels, when they programmed them at the factory so that when the state mechanics would hook them up to their pollution, you know, machines, Philo, they would not pollute, and then when you disconnected them, they would friggin' run higher and pollute like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on. It's I took a few college kids with laptops to catch them polluting, and yet they're trying to tell us that that these automatic ballot counters, these voting machines, are okay. We're supposed to just believe them, Philo? I don't think so. There's a website called handcountusa.com and clintcurtis.com too, and he's talking about video. They have to video every ballot, and no shredding. Those ballots should be kept for 2 years after the election by law. You know, so like I said, if Volkswagen can pre-program their diesels to be funky, then these, oh man, that's one of the cases up before the Supreme Court right now, as a matter of fact. Yep. Oh, Mayor Pete's rail safety. He wants to add one more worker to every train, Philo.
Oh, okay.
It's like, what is this, 1860?
Something like that, I think.
Yeah, we're going to put another brakeman on, you know? What's he going to do, be at the end of the train, you know, waving a red lantern?
Well, that's been known to happen.
Yeah, that's what they used to do when each car had its own brakes. The brakeman would hang all off the side of the damn train, and if it was coming down a hill, each guy would have to, you know, it was crazy.
Okay, Steve, last but not least.
Holy moly, really?
Yeah.
All right, there's a hate speech law in Scotland. J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter has been screaming about it. And Judge Merchant, I'll get into him next week, the guy who's after Trump. And remember, Jesus said that when the end times come, that when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Yeah, because it doesn't seem to be very popular to be a Christian these days. God knows why.
Well, if they just be quiet and stop pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
And they're also how do you call it? They want to be self-inflicted martyrs.
Some of them, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show. So hopefully we'll see you next week, inshallah. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as the Hebrabs say. So until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque, sniff the bum of the guy in the man dress in front of you, head east towards the meteorite in Mecca and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbar.
And of course, to everyone here, a happy Deus Magnus Est.
Oh no. It's a big rubber monster.
I am founder and organizer of the International Transgender
Rachel Crandall Crocker?
Disability.
What?
Anyone can create their own day. Tomorrow is
Just a minute. Thank you all so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here.
Oyster bunnies?
Come on, get in there. Pretty big bunny, huh?
All right, the slurring, mumbling, bumbling confusion continued during a very friendly interview, with that hard-hitting weatherman, Al Roker, on his favorite network, NBC News, where only Democrats are allowed to appear. Take a look.
What is so special about this, April?
Well, what's so special is this is the people's house. We can expect over 40,000 people to be here. It's the largest ever.
Was it 40,000 people to hear?
Open it up the place and let people see this is their place. And it always makes me feel good to look out there and see average Americans just walking around looking at what's going on because they own it.
Right.
Now, that's the best Joe could do, despite zero tough questions from the Democratic operatives on NBC. Now, of course, the president is...
By proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day, he called that outrageous and abhorrent. What do you say to Speaker Johnson?
Thoroughly uninformed.
Uninformed how? I didn't do that.
What?
Well, actually,
Who did?
Mr. Prez. Forget about... No. My staff isn't in charge. I'm the one making the decisions. Trans Day of Visibility, that was my idea. I've been involved in trans issues since the very beginning. Delaware Transit, Amtrak Transit. They used to call me Amtrak Joe. He gave me my own key. Did I ever tell you that? Some days I pull the train into the yard by myself. I pull in backwards, caboose first. And Mr. Topham had to be there waving to me. Oh, it's old Joe pulling in backwards again. Joe, give me the whistle.